welcome to the first ever of the Dauntless vlogs. My name is David Franklin, and every day for the next year, I'm going to be facing one fear a day, or basically 365 fears in 365 days. But I'll get to that in just a second. If you're a regular watcher of the show before the Dauntless vlogs became a thing, you were probably watching me doing the drawing board, where I taught science and engineering and a little bit of philosophy now and again. And the drawing board basically is done. I'll still be talking about it. I'm a very sciencey person. You can see my nerd shirt and everything here. But science is always going to come through in literally anything I do, because that's a big part of who I am. But like 365 videos are going to be of me going through challenges and stuff like that, facing fears. So if you don't want to be a part of that, that's fine. If you became a part of the channel because you like my personality and you like what I do, great, stay tuned. If you like the science, yeah, I'll hinge upon it a little bit here. But also, if you really like the science or really just education in general, check out the link in the description below. It'll say The Scholastic Gentleman, and that is my rebrand. I've been considering a rebrand for a long time. That's actually challenge number 1 here. But I'm daring to rebrand because I've done this channel for a long time and finally decided I want to go with something other than my name. So The Scholastic Gentleman, it's going to be science, math, philosophy, history, literature, all those traditional topics, but also things like cooking, martial arts, dancing, athletics, whatever. Basically, let me pause for a second. Sorry, I had to pause there. My roof rattles when I go a certain speed, so I wanted to get that part over with. Anyways, basically anything that's worth learning, you can learn on The Scholastic Gentleman. And while I can't teach all of it, sometimes I'll be bringing on experts, because I'm great at the education type stuff, the traditional stuff, and I value the other things, but I'm not an expert enough in those areas to really teach them, and so I might be the student in some, but hopefully it'll be a place where you can learn anything worth learning. So anyways, that little disclaimer there about where the channel is going. I'm going to be facing a new fear every day, basically, because I might do 365 fears in 365 days. So for example, today I am rebranding driving long distance by myself, and once I eventually arrive, I have like 4 more hours of driving. I'll be exploring a new city by myself. So that's 3 fears in a day. And other days, like I'm really good with building with hardware and traditional mechanical stuff like that. But there are a lot of skill sets like sewing or welding or just anything electrical that freaks me out because I'm not good at them, that I value them, but I'm not good at them. So like I'm gonna sew a backpack, and I know that's gonna take me longer than a day. So hopefully it'll balance out. Ultimately I'll do 365 years, 365 days. But right now I am heading to Washington, D.C. for the first time in my life, because I'm from Arizona and I don't do a ton of traveling over here, but I moved to Georgia, and now I get to go to Washington, D.C. for Earth Day for the March for Science. And so I figured that'd be a good transitioning point between the All About Science channel that I was running and the sort of more vlog-like channel that I'm running now. And the March for Science, whether you think that we need to make a point to policymakers who are ignoring good scientific evidence as a part of their policy, or if you just want to make a point that you think that the policymakers are doing a good job with that, but that you just want to kind of remind them that we are here, sort of like you may not be at war, but you made, with the Great White Fleet in something like the 1940s or something like that, maybe earlier, I think it was earlier, the U.S. took their new Navy fleet around the world to kind of show it off. They weren't fighting anyone, but it's just kind of showing what they had, and there's someone to be listened to. And that could be the same thing if that's, so for whatever reason, if you like science and you think it's important, come do the March for Science. So I'm going to DC just because it's the headquarters and I've never been to DC before. It fit along well with my challenge here, but it's going to be in something like over 400 cities across the world. So you can go anywhere, literally anywhere. So March for Science going to be taking that on, and I'll be doing that video tomorrow, and then hopefully by Monday I will have posted kind of a full vlog incorporating my entire DC trip. For now I want to post a video a day, so I'm going to be doing things like this because I can't edit away from home, so I'll just have to post a straight through sort of video. But I wanted to kind of let you know what I'm doing. So I'm facing a bunch of fears all at once. I'm going to be doing the science thing, the March for Science, hopefully go to the Smithsonian Institute and going to show you some short videos from that over the next couple of days. And yeah, it should be good stuff. So I want to talk about my inspiration for doing this. So one part of my inspiration right off the bat, I'll go ahead and say, is from, I can't think of her name, but she has the channel or the challenge 100 Days with No Fear. Now she's rebranded. It's called Hello Fears is her YouTube channel. She talked on TED Talk. She was so scared of everything. She was scared to like pick up a cat kind of thing. Like she was scared of pretty much everything. So she set out to face her fears. And I thought that was a really good idea. I liked the concept of it. And I kind of ran with it because at that point I was really looking for a challenge in my life. I was just thinking, you know, if I hadn't made some of the decisions that I had, if you've watched my videos, you've seen that I've worked for Disney and I met my girlfriend there. We've been dating a really long time. What would have happened if I wouldn't have made some of my decisions? And I don't regret my decisions, but I've realized that I might be in a different place. I might have finished my degree and might be working for NASA or Boeing, or I might have, you know, join the military or the police or be doing search and rescue and have gotten my EMT certification. I don't know what I would have been doing, and I don't regret it, but I realized that I needed a challenge and I needed to start working towards some of these goals despite what I'd done. So I needed to challenge myself. I needed to better myself, and I ran into this channel just by luck, and I thought it was great. And so I kind of went with that, combined it with the idea of the year of yes, where you don't say, you aren't going to say no when someone asks you to do something, and just see where the experiences from that come. And I combined it all together and then combined some self-improvement stuff. I want to gain some weight, become stronger physically and mentally. I want to learn a lot of languages. I want to know like 8 different languages, 9 different languages, something like that. And so I'm going to be learning Russian because I'm going to Russia this summer, a couple different countries. But that's going to be part of the challenge as well, going to new places, experiencing new cultures. But it's just so much to do, and I really need to make a big move to get out there. But also, part of my inspiration is to make a little bit of a political point, and maybe not political, but social, somewhere in there. I don't know what to call it exactly, but at least most of my adult life, because I was probably a lot more conservative when I was younger, just because I was like raised in a conservative state by conservative parents. But as an adult, I've been very sort of middle of the line, at least after high school a little bit. And yeah, I go left on some points. Both my parents are teachers, so I care a lot about education. Gosh, shock, right? Teaches online, pro-education. Weird. Pro-environmentalism. I'm pro-social on a lot of, I go left on a lot of social issues. And I know this isn't really popular to say online, and I hope it doesn't ding me permanently and you don't think I'm a bad person, but I think it's worth saying, is I'm pro defend yourself with firearms, so I'm pro gun. I could see, you know, not all gun control measures that are put into place, I don't think they're all great, but I could see that there are things we could do. I'm not smart enough to come up with the solutions, but that doesn't mean that there aren't solutions out there that I'd be willing to support. And that's a big pile of sand. I am the worst at distractions. So anyways, I also am pro-free market to a certain degree. Definitely pro-competition in a capitalistic sense. So I don't know. I go right on some things. I go left on some things. And I posted about my political views to a certain degree in the past on the channel. And I'm going to pause again. But it's amazing how much flack you take from both sides for not being purely one or the other. Like, if you were an extreme liberal or an extreme conservative, you wouldn't get flack from at least one side of the spectrum. But from the middle, you'd think you'd just get, like, no flack, because everybody would be like, look, I don't agree with them completely, but I kind of get it. That's not what seems to happen. And people think that there's this antagonism between both sides, and if you aren't completely agreeing with one side, they think you're on the other, and there's this antagonism. And granted, I think a lot of conservative and liberals can look at each other with a grain of salt with their antagonism. Like, for example, I think conservative people can look at liberal people and think, yeah, like they're trying to be nice and they're trying to be kind, but they end up being really over idealistic and just really without any discipline or backbone. I think liberal people can look at conservative people and say, you know, I mean, I see that they're trying to solve a problem and they're probably trying to do a good job, but it's sort of this brutal efficiency where they don't care who they step on, they don't care about the environment when they're making those decisions, and they really only care about me and mine, this sort of in-group, out-group sort of thing. And I think the in-group, out-group thing applies to the liberal conservative thing, that you're at each other's throats and you have to be one or the other, and you have to be the extreme on one side or the other. I don't think we see enough people in the middle, at least in the public eye, and I think that there are a lot more of us than are seen, or at the very least, that people who are in the public eye, that they've created a public identity, a personal brand. They're really only showing one side or the other, and there are some people who do a great job of it. I've been relatively vocal in the past about like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does but he has the best Instagram page I've ever seen. You know, obviously he's a real tough guy and he's real disciplined. He wakes up at like 4 a.m. to just bust his butt to become a better person, stronger person, get a bunch of work done. But he also does a bunch of social things. He's helping out like boys and girls clubs and stuff like that. He's just a stand-up guy, and he talks about, you know, Samoan culture and the prison system, and you know, I like what he has to say, and I just feel like we need more voices like that. And if I can demonstrate that in one way or another, that's what I'm going for here. I'm also seeking to kind of strengthen that balance in myself through this challenge. So do I think that right now I am the perfect person to be that archetype of the balance between strength and discipline and kindness and I don't know, not forethought, but vision? No. I think I have the potential to be, but while I think I have the potential to be, I'm not where I want to be. But I hope that by showing my journey, that one, I can become that, but also by showing the journey that I can demonstrate that archetype exists, that people can be both pluses on both sides of the scene. I don't get, like, I get it. I get why there's an antagonism, and I get why you think it's either one or the other. I get that. I think our minds are conditioned for an in-group, out-group mentality, but at the same time, I don't get why more voices aren't. There have to be so many more people who are in the middle and who are objective thinkers, who will go left or right on individual points, or maybe not left or right at all. Maybe it's a sea of different things. It's not on just a little line. So whatever. Anyways, my point is, I have a lot of different inspirations, whether it's the book on fear that I had been writing, which, by the way, I've been writing a book on fear, and I decided needed something more, so the challenge fit in well with that. And I'll also be doing some science experiments involving fear throughout this challenge for that. Whether it's me needing a challenge, whether it's me wanting to better myself, or make a point that you can be kind, and you can be strong, and you can be hard, but you can be tender. And I don't know, I feel like that needs to be said and that needs to be shown. And I'm going to do my best to do that every day throughout this challenge on a whole spectrum of different types of challenges. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to hopefully by Monday show the full DC experience, but I'll be posting little videos here and there, like this one, of my experience, because I want to post a video a day still. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out the science education thing, check out the Scholastic Gentleman in the bottom. If you want to follow along, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. There should be a little DF in one of the corners there. I'm not sure which, but you can subscribe that way and follow along with the journey. And every day, stay dauntless, my friends. See you guys later.